I've been getting a lot of questions about sequencing. Sequencing is kind of the lost, I don't know, it's like a lost sibling of the book design world. You hear a lot about the photography, a lot about the edit, a lot about page design, a lot about the marketing and trying to sell books. Sequencing is a weird thing that if you make one small misstep can completely ruin your chances of somebody basically taking in your entire body of work. I have made this mistake several times. It's been a year since I've done this, but I made a couple of big faux pas once based on a body of work and learned pretty quickly that if I get these things out of order, I don't have a chance. So unfortunately, the only thing new I have to show is a couple of images from the Burrow race that I went to last weekend. This is not my best work by any stretch, but I'm going to lay these out and I'm going to kind of show you what I think about when I start to sequence. And I'm not saying this is the only way or the best way. This is just kind of some of the things that I think about when I am doing this myself. Now, some of this work is I put in here because of you, not because of me. Some of these images I would not typically have printed, but I put them in here just to kind of give you an example of what some of you might be thinking or might be doing. So action, detail, prelims, end, action, detail, prelims. So I'm looking at this. I put one color image in here because I know a lot of people like to mix color and black and white. I typically would not do that. But okay, so what are we talking about here? I am looking at this. I'm looking at this picture as a pretty, that's a pretty easy lead-in photo. Donkeys, asses, burros, whatever you want to call them. I think I would say that's a pretty easy lead-in picture. So I'm actually going to start with that one. And then I'm looking at one of these prelims right here. So the prelim pictures are those two. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So we've got, this has a couple of things. One, you've got an older participant here, Donkey. She's in the process of stepping out of this trailer. She's got a carrot in her hand, and this little donkey's like, I think I need that carrot. So this is kind of nice. I like the fact that this person, let me zoom in here a little more. This person is, this is an action moment, if you will. She's about to step out of the trailer. I like photography that's decisive moment kind of thing. So is this the greatest picture in the world? No. So let me give this again. I'm starting with this baby. I'm starting with the easy read, right? If you can't figure out what this is, you got a serious problem. But I also, there's aspects about this I like. I like the fact that they're both facing each other. It kind of brings your eye like this, and I also like the light. This is one of the first pictures I made that day, and the light is still relatively decent. I'm starting with that. I'm going with this little prelim here. And then I think I'm gonna go, I was gonna go with this prelim picture, which this is a little bit of a hard read. This takes a bit to figure out what's going on here. But you have one donkey, you've got this two little black miniature donkey here, and you have two youth members of the donkey world, which I like. This is an older person here. This is, the rest of the people in these pictures are a little bit older, but these are younger. So you got a young guy here, you got a young person here sort of laying over the wheel well of the trailer. And this is, I love the fact that you've got this donkey head and you can see this here. His face is cleared by the chain. I kind of like this, but the other thing that's tricky here is that these two are, these are busy photographs. This one in particular, that's busy. That requires a bit of work by the audience, right? So what I might do is I might go like this, and then I might hit you with this one, because this picture, of course you can't see it, might go like that, because this picture, that picture is a very simple read. That says Black Canyon Donkey Derby 2005 Arizona, first place 9 miles. That's a very clean, simple, easy read picture, as opposed to this one, which is far more complex. So I might hit him with the simple one and then hit him with the little busier one. Now I'm starting on the second row. This one obviously might go, that's gonna go on the end for now. And then we're getting to the action. So we got two action images. We got these two action pictures. This is, I have better of this. This is the first corner where people are running in and they're coming around the corner. And it's not that this is a bad picture, it's just a little bit too expected for me. I have this whole motor drive sequence of this guy's coming around the corner and running like this. I even have the winner coming by where his donkey's in the air and he's in the air. So it's a decent, okay picture, but it's not thrilling to me, but I'm gonna put it down here. This picture I like. This might be, in terms of action, this is probably gonna be my favorite photograph right here, which is shot from a railroad crossing right before I got kicked out for standing on the railroad crossing because the trains are still active, and this woman came and said, you got to get out of here or we're gonna hook kick you more than once. So I kind of like this. This is maybe my favorite picture of the day, and I'm not saying I made any great pictures that day, but that's kind of where we're at. So now I'm here, and then I think I'm gonna throw in this little bit of color, and I'm gonna finish with, obviously, and this is not the finish line, this color photograph, that's not the finish line. That's just some sort of trail marking thing, but it's simple and it's color and it breaks up the overall scheme. And then this picture, another easy read. This is a finish line thing that's been knocked over in the ground. And again, that's about as brainless a photograph as you can make, but sometimes it helps tell a story. I'm gonna zoom back out here. We're gonna go here. And that is kind of that's the sequence that I have for now. Now, if I was gonna be merciless, because I am merciless, and if I was gonna edit, like this, if I took this into the newspaper back in 1995, they would have laughed at me and said, no, we're never gonna run that many pictures. So you better figure it out, knucklehead. I would probably start cutting, I'm cutting this one for sure. I might be able to get rid of, now, depending, for a newspaper here, this might be a little too much, this might be too heavy a read, take too long to read. So I'm gonna skip that. This, again, brainless, simple, how can you not like donkeys? Nice ass, you know what I mean? I mean, how do you not like those two gentle, and by the way, for those of you who don't know or didn't grow up in a barnyard, donkeys, burros, they're very intelligent creatures, and they not only partner with each other, but they partner with humans really well and with other animals, and they bond. They're very thoughtful, they're very emotional, and they're very intelligent creatures. So they're pretty fun to be around. They can be nasty little wankers when they want to be, and man, if they don't want to run, guess what? They're not going to run. So I'm going to keep this in for now. I'm definitely keeping this one in, and I'm keeping this one in, and just for editing exercise, I'm going to get rid of this. It's too obvious. I'm gonna keep this one, and maybe, okay, so what am I gonna do now? I think I would do this. Again, I'm starting with an easy lead. This picture, super simple, right? That anyone can figure out what that is. So I'm playing down to a dumb audience. I might do this. If I was gonna do 4 only, I'm definitely putting this in. Now for those of you color heads out there, trying to think here, let me see here, this, maybe I'm leaving that color one in just because I know there's somebody gonna ask me. There's 500 people are gonna ask me, hey, can you put mixed color in black and white? Let me see here. You know, maybe this is a nice little 5-frame summation of this day. But we can cut more, right? We can totally cut more. We can cut this. We can cut this. And now I was gonna say, and again, I'm throwing you a bone here with donkey boys over here to make it simple. But that again, is that like some epic photograph? No. But this doesn't feel right to me because this is such a right-leaning photograph. So maybe we could sum up with those 3. That might work. Again, one of many variations here. Ask 10 photographers, you're gonna get 10 different answers, which is totally fine. Ultimately, you are the maker of your own photographic bed. So you want to do what you feel is right. Ultimately, you're gonna be left to make the decision yourself. Now me, I would just do 8 selfies. I would definitely just selfie my way into oblivion with this. But that's a basic sequencing exercise that hopefully was helpful to someone. So hopefully that was of interest to some of you jagaloons out there. You know what's gonna happen. And by the way, the fan in my refrigerator is broken and it's coming on about every 2 hours. And it is one of the most annoying things in the world. Hey, do you want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? That's exactly what it sounds like every 2 hours for the last, I don't know, 48 hours. I'm about to lose my mind. And I know what's going to happen. My wife's like, grow your hair out, grow your hair out, grow your hair out. But what she doesn't realize is the last time I grew my hair out was pre-COVID and my hair wasn't gray. And I guarantee when it grows in now and it's gray, I will get nothing but gaunt, wrinkly, and old comments. I know it's coming. I've seen the future. I am a master at marital foreshadowing. This was a fun little exercise. I try to do this kind of exercise every time I go and make any series of pictures, whether it's a diptych or a triptych, or if I get lucky and I'm out on a day where I get a few more photographs. This is a really good skill to have. Anytime you're working in a journalism role or you're working for editorially or you're working on a project for someone, this is the kind of thing that happens on a daily basis. And the fun thing is, let's say that we were hypothetically talking about my New Mexico project, the dead New Mexico project, but let's say hypothetically we were living in fantasy land with tattoo, and all of a sudden we were like, hey, your project's not dead. So imagine if I had the burro races, let's say that I edited that down to 8 frames, and then let's say that I was down in Little Odessa and I was working on, I don't know, a photo story about roughnecks working in the oil fields, and I edited that to 8. And then let's say I went to Los Alamos and I got access to someone working at the Los Alamos lab, and I spent a day or a couple of days with that person and I edited that down to 8 frames. You see where I'm going here? That whole project becomes chapters, if you will. And then the real masterclass of editing and sequencing comes when you're finalizing the project and you realize, okay, I need to take those 8 sets of images from all these different stories and I have to edit them into one cohesive story. That's the real masterclass. This is where you get outside help. This is where you get second opinions, because this is not an easy thing. The best photographers in the world will often immediately hire someone to do the design, but they will also hire someone to help them with design and sequence. I've seen this happen. I've worked on projects with other photographers where they've hired outside designers and outside editors to help. These are full-time professional photographers who in some cases already had 6 or 8 traditionally published books. And the day that we agreed to do the project together, that day they hired designers and editors to help. So this is how it works. It's fun. And again, this is not a specific puzzle. This is not like the accountant, you know, Ben Affleck putting together a puzzle and having to have every piece fit perfectly. This is interpretive. And that's where it gets interesting. And you can be a mind-blowingly good photographer and have no ability to edit your own work. I've seen that. I don't actually think that that's a fault. I think that's just a natural. Some people are great at it and other people aren't. It's the same applies for sequencing and design. So you might be able to do this with your own work and you might not be. And if you can't do this or you don't feel like you can, that's not a big deal. You get outside help. One of the reasons that Blurb has started to do online events and we do these image breakdowns is specifically this region, because I've been saying to Blurb for a long time, and they know this obviously, but the Blurb audience, there's a lot of prosumers in the Blurb audience, and as a prosumer, chances are you didn't go to photo school. Chances are you don't hang out necessarily with editors. So where are you gonna get that kind of feedback? So this is what happens. You put your work out in front of other people, you get critiques on it, you start practicing it yourself at home, and you are ready to go. You know what I mean? This is the biggest lens I've used in years, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Really, no, I'm not real sure. That's a sequencing thing. Was it good? Was it helpful? What else is going on? I think that's about it. I should probably just shut up and end it here. I think we'd all be better off.